Hey guys, it's Ihasnotomato here, and welcome to a little chat series that I've got going here, of which I have not named, but I'm thinking something like Story Time with Ihasnotomato. This is a series where essentially I'm going to be talking about stories from life, or TF2, or just my thoughts on things, or whatever have you. Just a little discussion, I guess you could say, podcast-like thing, with some TF2 footage in the background that's pre-recorded, and some nice music as well, hopefully. And the subject for today, my very first episode of this I suppose, will be Where the Fuck Have I Been? As if anyone really cares. But you guys might have noticed that for a little while there I was AWOL, I was completely gone. I did say that I had to do some things and that I'd be back in 2 weeks, and then I wasn't. And then I came back with, that Halloween update, was it? No, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen, you'll be able to see. But yes, essentially my life just went crazy at that point in time, and I thought I would discuss it and talk about it and try and kind of give you guys a little bit of an insight into what my life is like and how I can, I guess, make videos, where videos rather fall into that. So yeah, here's what happened. So first off, if you guys don't know, I do actually participate in university, where I have a lot of classes and things that need to be done. It's primarily actually a lot of homework and stuff, so as a result, I really don't have as much time as you might think. Because it's pretty much one of those things where, you know, you're at uni all day and then you come home and then you do homework all night and then you go to bed. So, especially at the end of the year, which it was, and there was no time for anything. So that's why I kind of thought, you know what, I should put my channel on hold so I can focus on my uni work. However, if that was the case, I would have been able to get back into it in only a couple of weeks, but unfortunately things went a bit more crazy. You see, at that point in time, just around about the time that uni was ending, in fact a week beforehand, I was contacted by my father, who informed to me that he, to put it quite simply, was made redundant from his job and was pretty much forced into retirement. For those curious, my dad is about 64. No, is 64. So it was a bit, you know, out of nowhere. But as a result, my father had to then sell his house, which was also my childhood home, and the house that I probably lived in for about 16 years or so. And as a result, a lot of my time suddenly became helping my father move everything out of our house. Now, you have to remember that this is a really big house that once held a family of 4, and there's a lot of stuff there that needed to be moved. We had to get 2 skips, in fact, at least, and there's probably going to be another one, because believe it or not, we're still not done. It's a big house, and it was a lot of work, and I was spending pretty much every day there as well, on top of uni. And then, as a result of my father having to sell the house and stuff, my brother, who is currently at the age of about 25 or so, suddenly became homeless. You see, he'd been living with my father for this entire time, and as a result, he just had nowhere to go. Full disclosure, he's the kind of person that you wouldn't exactly expect him to move out on his own. It was this sort of thing that, this was sort of the best thing to happen for him, because suddenly he had to find somewhere to live. Unfortunately, that place was with me. Now, I already live with one other person, and suddenly having a third person makes it even more difficult to do anything. Now, I don't know of how many people can really, associate themselves with this, but here's the thing. First, particularly when you're doing voice recording stuff like right now, it helps to have nobody in the house, just because, you know, I can really let myself go and talk about whatever and just kind of, you know, record my voice. And it's difficult enough trying to balance that when you're living with one other person, but 2 people, and the other person being your own brother, who's in the room right next to you and who pretty much leaves the house as much as I do, which is nearly never, it became really, really difficult to be able to do that. He also ended up moving into our spare room, which was initially my art room, because I'm an artist and I do a lot of artwork there, and it's my #1 creative outlook. It kind of really, I don't know, brought me down. I had no creative outlets, really. So I couldn't make videos because he was around all the time, and I know technically I still probably could have made videos, but I don't know, it's a whole mind thing, because then it got even crazier. You see, before any of this had happened, we had been planning for a couple of months to get a brand new puppy, would you believe? Yeah, I'll put pictures of her on the screen right now. Her name is Merida. It's another Westie. We have 2 Westies. We have Weejock and Merida. They are both adorable. However, like I said, this whole thing about my dad and my brother moving in was kind of spontaneous, so it all kind of just started dropping on each other all at once. I ended up going on a massive road trip all the way to Melbourne from where I live in Adelaide, which took about 2 or 3 days to there and back, staying around and all that, just because that's where we were picking up the puppy. And I know a lot of you are thinking, like, why the fuck did you go to Melbourne? It's a long story, but essentially Westies aren't exactly something you can buy in a pet store, let's just put it that way. So then we bring the puppy back, and then suddenly I've become major #1 puppy man. You see, I am very much a dog and animal person. I know how to take care of them, and I've been asked multiple occasions to, house it and look after people's dogs and stuff, and for once I was really just looking after my new dog, this new puppy. But, well, technically it's not really mine, you see, it is my other housemates. So I was kind of stuck in my house all day, every day, looking after this newborn puppy. And here's the thing, right? You'd think that they don't require much attention. No, they do. They require almost constant attention, trying to make them not chew on things that will probably kill them or something like that. Having to feed them 4 times a day, make sure their water is filled, make sure they're entertained, all this kind of thing. My brother, unfortunately, is not an animal person, like, at all. He can be around dogs, but he doesn't really know how to properly take care of them, so it was really just up to me. And then during that time I got tremendously sick. So imagine this, right? I'm basically trapped on the couch trying to look after this puppy with my brother in the other room at all times. He's not exactly the easiest person to live with, I'll be quite frank with you. He has a very big presence, let's just say that much. And I was insanely sick. Other than the hay fever, because it was spring, I also had a bug. So it was kind of mixed together into this absolutely total, I was fucking out of my head at all times. It was interesting actually, because I ended up seeing the doctor, and she specifically was able to describe my symptoms as where I was so out of it that I could barely focus on anything. I could focus, she put it like this: you can flip through a magazine, but you can't read a book. And I thought that was really well put, and that's how I felt. I basically just sat there on the couch for about 4 straight days, looking after a puppy, feeling shit, and playing fuck tons of Pokemon Sun. And if you're wondering how much Pokemon Sun, I started it when that weekend started, and then let's say another half a week or something, I had collected every single Pokemon because I wanted to complete my Pokédex and get the shiny charm. Anyway, yeah, I played a fuck ton of Pokemon Sun. You don't even know. But yeah, and so life was pretty much just that for a while. Looking after a puppy full time, constantly going to my dad's place to help him move. And when I say to help him move, it's kind of like a emotional thing as well, I could say, that having to go through literally my entire childhood and either shove it into my room or throw it in the bin. It's a bit of a crazy time. And all the while I've got my brother living with me, which is just, this house that I live in right now is not made for 3 people. Let me just put it that way. Alright, this is not a 3 people house. This is a 2 people house. And it can have 3, but oi. Anyway. But this story might sound like it's a really shitty time, and I guess it kind of was, but it does start getting good, because would you believe it or not, to our surprise, my brother actually ended up finding a place for himself. And he moved out and went there. The puppy has grown up a bit and requires a lot less attention. I, of course, got over my sickness. My father, the deadline for us to kind of get the house on sale, he extended it back to January, which is fantastic because, you know, we were able to suddenly relax a lot because we were trying to get it by the end of like bloody November or something like that to get it like on sale, but like we're like, nah, it's not going to happen. But yeah, and as a result, finally, you know, Christmas kind of came along, the TF2 update came, finally, you know, I had time to record and all of that, and I've been able to start making videos again. And yeah, that's the story of where I've been. And if you're wondering, like, gee whiz, Liam, Ihasnotomato, whatever you call me, you had some crazy shit like this happen to you last year as well. It's like, yeah, I know, believe me. I wish that my life wasn't this crazy. I really do, and that's not like a bragging thing, I guess. I don't know. Hey, because I'm a creative person, I guess. I like to spend my time constantly making things. I'm not the kind of person that likes to sit around and do nothing. It's just not my thing. Like, to a certain extent, it's almost detrimental, where I have to kind of force myself to have a day off, so to speak. And if you guys are wondering, do I have a job? No, I don't. I don't have time for a job. I'm too busy working. So yeah. So anyway, that's the first episode of my little talk show thing. Now this was just a little, you know, explanation to, you know, where I've been and all that, obviously. But the next videos and stuff, there won't be as, I guess, you know, down, I guess. I realized halfway through while I was talking, I was like, it does sound kind of depressing. But no, we're all good now. Still got a bit of a cough though, obviously. But yes, I have lots of different like ideas for episodes and stuff. Just a little, you know, like chill sessions, you know what I mean? I'll just talk, just play some TF2, you know, have it in the background, have some nice music playing, just that kind of thing. Just like, you know, just a chill thing. So like I said, I have a couple more of these and things I want to make. I want to make them, you know, every now so often. There will be like TF2 stories and things like that. I actually have one already recorded because something did happen to me, would you believe it or not, while I was away in TF2, which I wanted to make a video on. So that'll probably be next. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, sorry if it was a bit depressing. They won't all be like this, obviously. And I have been Ihasnotomato, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.